Welcome.
What up, everybody? Loving the new intro, Coach Evan. Can't thank you enough for helping me out with that. Shout out to your boy who actually made the music itself. But yeah, man, I think that's a way better way to enter the end of the podcast and get it going, man. Get a little hyped up watching your boy Nash do his thing, watching your boy Amari, all the greats. Shout out to Salty for coming up with that highlight of Charles Barkley to start it, man, because I don't think I remembered that one. I mean, if I saw it, I would have been like, oh yeah, of course. But man,
that was my very first Phoenix Suns memory. I seem to remember them playing the Sonics right beforehand in that 93 playoffs. I don't remember anything about the Lakers when they were down 2-0 and Paul Westphal was like, we're going to come back and win to win 3-2. I remember nothing of that. I barely remember playing the Sonics, but that Spurs hit, specifically that Charles Barkley one, I remember that. That's my first real Phoenix Suns memory.
So you're living in Phoenix at that time, right?
Absolutely. Born and raised.
How old were you at that time?
Second grade.
Second grade. Had you already decided at that point that you were Suns or that you cared about basketball, or was that kind of the moment as well?
It was just in Phoenix, it was huge. Like, I liked going on the playground and playing, but I never really watched it. My parents weren't big sports enthusiasts, really. My mom was, but my dad not really. But that when that 92-93 team hit Phoenix, man, it was a haboob all the way through, and it was just crazy how a first or second grader could just get completely enthralled by the whole thing. We had Phoenix Suns days where they handed out cars at lunch, or who could wear the most purple and orange, or we had days like that at school. It was crazy.
Yeah, no, bro, that reminds me a little bit different. It's not even a Valley team, but growing up in Nebraska, I remember being a little kid, real little, sleeping in my bunk bed, and my brother comes upstairs, wakes me up, and it's like, none of my family was drinking or anything, but they might as well have been drunk, bro. The energy with which he woke me up was like a drunk guy waking up his little brother or his son. And he shakes me out of bed. I'm like, what? He's like, we just won the national championship. We just won it. And I'm like, that was kind of when I woke up with sports. It was like, oh, this is a big deal. I should care about championships, But yeah, dude, that's cool, man. It's cool you remember that moment with the Suns. I was an adult once I became a Suns fan. So, and I think it was just Nash Amari, Nash Marion, Nash
Absolutely.
Barbosa. Watching them was just what got me hyped as an adult. But man, welcome everybody again. Thanks. What's going on in the chat? Iverson, what's good, bro? Let's beat Cleveland tomorrow. Exactly. Tomorrow is a trap game. We all know it's a trap game. This is a team that doesn't have a flashy name. They're not a flashy city. And they don't have a flashy record. So I'm fearful that it's going to be way too close. What do you think, Coach Evan?
Yeah, 100%, especially on a back-to-back, right? Even if it is at home. I'm assuming they're going to let fans in tomorrow. Do you know? If they did today, why wouldn't they tomorrow? Or was today just for the healthcare workers, the frontline workers?
I think it's – okay, look at it this way. You got Robert Sarver. The man's the cheapest man in sports. There's going to be fans. If you can have fans on Sunday, he's going to have fans on Tuesday. Monday.
Absolutely. If there's fans, Devin Booker came out after the game and said that the fans really gave him energy. So that could really be, I mean, even if there was only 2,000, 2,500, whatever it was, that can really pump them up and help them, especially through the tough times. And who knows who's going to play tomorrow? Is Nader all of a sudden going to be healthy again enough to play? Were they keeping Saric and all them on back-to-back? What is the Transformers man doing here?
Transformers. This is the do it, man. All right.
Did you guys see the Shia LaBeouf video that came out over the summer when all the A1 actors were doing that big Zoom call and they were acting or doing something? Shia LaBeouf is just stoned off of his ass, smoking joints in the front seat of his car, and he's just going like this while Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston are reading, and he's just the whole time.
Yeah, I saw that.
Kid. Saul, what's going on, bro? What'd you think of the Celtics game?
It was good, man. It just shows that we don't really know what we're talking about. No, I'm just kidding. It's just like anybody. It's like we pick these games and then it's like the opposite happens. What game was I watching the other night? It's just it's hard to pick these games, man. If you're doing this for money, I'd be losing lots of money because they're just the NBA in general, you know.
Bro, I think no, you just solved it. It's backwards. That's how you predict them with the Suns, and we've been saying it for a while. Monty's team will stomp and/or look really good against the good teams. And then you better be scared against the bad teams. And that's why Iverson's in here talking about beating Cleveland tomorrow and why we're saying it's a trap game. You know, so, that's how you pick this team.
So going into this, Boston, I guess, was on a losing streak because they started off like 8-3. And then I guess they've lost a good amount of games. I think they had a pretty significant injury. I'm not sure who it was, but
Marcus Smart.
Marcus Smart, yeah. I think he got injured, and then they've lost 6 games. There's something. They've been on a pretty decent.
This was their 4th loss of their last 6. So yeah, overall 4, 5, 6, 7 of their last 11 they've lost. So yeah.
Yeah, so they're kind of trending down, you know, because the Boston I was thinking about this coming down here is kind of earlier in the year, but then I looked at where they actually were. But it's still a good win, man. I'm not going to try to take away from it. But that loss that we had against New Orleans was a revenge game. You got to take that into account. And then they're actually playing better. If you look at their last, 5, 6 games, they beat some pretty decent teams, you know.
Definitely. Man, this game tonight, earlier today, rather, sorry, not the Super Bowl. Super Bowl was meh, but this Suns game, it had some energy to it. And Coach, you might have been onto something about when Booker was saying the fans gave him energy. I felt like the whole team had a little bit of different energy.
I would agree. I definitely would agree. I mean, I saw it the very first 4 possessions. Devin Booker comes down, hits a jumper. Devin Booker comes down, hits another jumper from the opposite elbow. Then 2 straight assists that he facilitated. He just, for the first 4 possessions, it was all him. And then he reverted back to Chris Paul, which I was really curious as to why they did that when he was doing so good. It was probably game plan scripted that way. But you saw it right away. There was definite energy in the building. And shout out to the frontline healthcare workers.
Yeah, man, I would have loved to have been one of them and been to be one of the first people to get to see this Suns team play in those jerseys against the Celtics on Super Bowl Sunday. Salty, what do you think of Ayton's game today?
I tweeted out that he was kind of having a subpar first half, but I guess he picked it up towards the end, you know. I think he was at about 3 rebounds when I tweeted it out. I don't want to go to my Twitter because I might get kicked out, but he was sitting about 3 rebounds and he had like 8. His point output was fine, but then I was looking at his rebounds. I'm like, dude, why is his rebounds down? But then I figured that we have a taller lineup with Kaminsky in there, so he's 7 feet as well, right, or something.
Yeah, he is a 7-footer. He is a 7-footer.
So he's an extra tall guy in there fighting for rebounds when usually if you looked at our lineup before, Ayton was just the guy, like the designated 7+ guy, like who was the next tallest if you look at our lineups, you know? So, but he came back and I looked at his stat line and same old game. What was his stats?
16 and 11.
16, 11's fine.
Couple assists, 1 block. I felt like he just wasn't – I wrote this down. Is it too much to ask for him to take 15 shots a game? And I mean that. This isn't like a rhetorical – both of you, either of you. Is 15 shots – does that sound like it's too many for Ayton?
I mean, for 40 minutes. He played 40 minutes and he only took 11. I feel like –
so I'm not asking for much more.
No, and what you're saying is against smaller teams too. This was against Boston, who had Theus was like their biggest guy, really.
Right.
So I'd love to see that. Come on now.
Salty, what do you think about this? So I'm thinking I want them to just force feed Ayton, kind of the way we used to force feed Shaq. Remember when we did like 7 seconds or Shaq? Now don't laugh at that. That's not a joke. But you remember 7 seconds or Shaq. I'm just saying some sort of variation where it's like a feed Zeke situation. where we use our Ayton as like a football running game. And it's like, look, maybe our shots aren't going, but we've always got this running game, which is give it to Ayton and let him do something within 15 feet of the rim. And I feel very comfortable with him being a bigger part of the offense and having more opportunities.
I kind of counter that point, like saying he needs to have a certain amount of touches, because then at that point you're not going with the flow of the game. You're kind of just letting a player's touches dictate the offense, and that leads to turnovers. They showed that at the beginning of the year, when you're trying to force something like a square peg into a round hole, sometimes it's not going to work out. So do I think that he needs more touches? Yes. Do I feel like they could run some plays through him? Yes. I feel like that could be utilized a lot better. I don't know who's his coach right now for low posts, but I feel like he could be doing a better job with that.
Mark Bryant.
Yeah, I don't know if
former
Mark's
Phoenix
the dude.
Sun, Mark Bryant. Yeah.
Maybe it's time to get a fresh voice in Ayton's head.
Like the Shaq days, how they'd initiate offense, and then Shaq would get in the post, then he would diagnose the defense, and then a lot of times they would double down, and then he'd kick it to a three-point shooter, and that's how they'd make their bread, or they'd find some weak spots.
That was Shaq's like 12th or 13th year at that point, so we had the experience to do that. I mean, I've always thought DA has a pretty decent ability to, when he does get doubled, to being able to hold the ball way out here, and then pass it to the right person. He just doesn't do it enough. My problem with him getting more touches or force feeding it is A, that's when most of our turnovers came early in the year, and B, he can't get the correct position still.
But for the record,
trouble with that.
For the record, we're not getting turnovers because we're trying to get him involved. We're getting turnovers because no one on our team knows how to throw him the ball in the post.
Why?
Right?
Why is that? Why do you think that?
His positioning. He's not getting wide enough to give the guy a good passing lane.
You guys are probably right. I was going to say that it's a lost art in the NBA. And I've never seen our Suns team be able to do it except for when it was Nash. But you would think Chris Paul would know how to do that. And he's better, but did you guys notice that he didn't get a lot of assists today? It was a lot more point book today. I really like that.
Yeah, Chris Paul was invisible in the first half.
He's tired too. He only had 2 assists, man.
Right. But I'm not hating.
Yeah.
I'm not upset with Chris Paul.
Was that
I'm more
game plan?
I don't know. I'm more excited with Booker, just the way he played today. He definitely didn't pour in the points like he normally does, but 11 assists. He almost got that triple-double. It was just it was a good performance. I'm not upset with Chris Paul. I felt like Chris Paul hit big buckets, tough buckets, like, oh, you're guarding me. Hit in your face, just hit. I don't feel like he wasted a lot of shots. He didn't miss a lot. It just wasn't a high performance. I think we're getting spoiled by Chris Paul hitting 25 to 30 points a night lately. What do you guys think?
Go ahead, Evan.
Go ahead, Salty. Okay. I mean, I think he could have been going on a back-to-back. Maybe we were trying to save him a little bit. I mean, we saw it right away with Devin Booker getting the first 4 possessions and then going at it. So was that part of the game plan? Did they see something in the defense that they liked? I think there's quite a bit to that, but maybe Chris Paul needed to be used more as a decoy.
Yeah, it worked. It worked, and it looked good. Right?
Whatever it was, it worked.
Yeah, so I don't know. I've kind of turned into this situation where if they win, I'm not really going to be dissecting the stat lines too much. I don't know. It gets to the point where, yeah, it's a WW. But if someone like really fucks, the pooch here, then you could probably just be like, okay, well, we'll get into what he didn't do or what he did do. But like, as long as we win and people aren't too far off of where they normally are with their averages, I think you can just kind of. Didn't Monty get pissed off at 8-0? I didn't see that.
Yeah, I mean, Iverson's saying Monty got angry. He has never seen him that angry in his life when he airballed that 3. I wasn't upset when he airballed the 3. I'm cheering that airball because the only reason he airballs that 3 is because he never takes them and he doesn't have the rhythm. Like, do you guys notice how when he does take that shot, even when he makes it, it's too fast of rhythm? Like, maybe I'm wrong. But
no, you're right. I've always thought that with his jumper. You're right.
He doesn't look at the rim and then shoot. It's almost like a quarterback who's either going to hit their first read or they ain't hitting no one at all. Like Mitch Trubisky, okay? It's like it's an automatic shot. Like he already knows he's going to take it. He catches the ball, swings, and shoots. And it's like he's not calm. He doesn't look calm. Frank Kaminsky looks more calm at the three-point line. He gets that thing and he whips it immediately. It's like, take your time, DA. They don't believe in you. They don't think you're going to shoot. You can take your time, get your feet set. But he's only going to learn that by taking more threes. And I, for one, want him to take threes. Salty, do you want him to take threes? Do you want him to stop?
I don't know. If it's all a coach thing, you know? So if he's going against the coach's wishes, then that's probably why he got pissed off. If you are going outside the offense, then that's the only reason why I think the coach would get pissed, because I don't think he get that mad at someone airballing a 3. Airballs happen, bad shots happen.
Book airball this game.
That was nuts.
It's just like, what else was Ayton doing to warrant him being pissed like that? Like, if he's not doing his actual job, which is post moves and doing big man things, then him floating out and airballing a 3 is going to piss the coach off, you know? It's like you're not doing what you're supposed to, so why are you trying to extend your game or change, you know? Like, expand your game.
No,
like,
I
focus
get that.
on the normal stuff.
And I think you're right. I think it's not a part of Monty's offense, and here's my proof of that. I saw Kaminsky today, and we might see it when we play the highlights here. I saw Kaminsky a couple times. Now, he is a quote-unquote three-point shooter. He has a green light, right? Like, you're never going to see Monty get pissed at him for taking an open 3. I saw 2 times today they passed the ball to Kaminsky on the top of the key. And he didn't even consider looking for a shot, and he was wide open. It was like a spitting image of what Ayton does. So maybe that's what Coach Monty installs in them, is like, okay, look, this is a swing. This is to get it from one guard around to the next. This is not for you centers to be putting up shots. Because if Kaminsky's not even looking, I don't know. I feel like he would look if that was a part of it. What do you think, Coach? You're the coach. What do you think?
If Monty's yelling at him about that, there's a reason for it. He doesn't want him to take it.
So he doesn't have a green light.
They have a matchup that we want. You're setting him up for the next play or the play after that, even. Because it was in the fourth quarter. Am I correct? That was in the fourth quarter when that happened. So we don't know what the game plan was going into it for the rest of the quarter. They could have been setting him up. But if your coach is coming out and he was that mad about it, there is a damn good reason. And at this point, I trust Monty more than I trust DeAndre, right?
Mm-hmm. I suppose, yeah.
That's my only thinking behind it. So take that for what you will.
Predictions for tomorrow? Any updates on Jay?
No updates. I do have some Cleveland Cavalier updates for tomorrow. Larry Nance Jr. is going to be out. He's going to get surgery on Monday, so tomorrow. Kevin Love is probably not going to be available at any point during the 5-game road trip that they're going on right now. Matthew Dellavedova has been out for a while, so no Larry Nance, no Kevin Love. But I think we have to take into consideration Andre Drummond, JaVale McGee, and Jarrett Allen as their frontliners versus Damian Jones and Frank Kaminsky and DA. I mean, Frank can stretch it at least. I feel good about getting one of them out there to stretch the floor a little bit more.
Look at this pass from Frank. Like,
Frank and Mikhail have something, don't they?
They do. Why? Why do they have something? I don't know. Maybe they shared a room in the bubble and they just got to know each other.
You know how basketball works. You have chemistry, like instant chemistry with certain players, like when you play, you know. It's just
Frank is a good passer.
He
but
is.
It's not just Frank to Bridges, it's both. Bridges has dimed him up too, you know.
You're right. I think they liked each other last year. I think they got to know each other, and
They could
Maybe
be boys, you know. We don't know.
Well, you know,
Because
Hill was second unit last year, wasn't he? A lot of the time, just like Frank.
Oubre was starting, yeah.
See, so you know they're used to
yeah.
playing with each other in practice.
Kaminsky, when he got cut, said that he missed the Suns. I don't know if that was bullshit or not, but that he generally likes the team, and they seem like they have good chemistry, camaraderie. But like I said, when I used to play basketball, like there's certain players I could just not even know them from Adam, and you just pick up chemistry on the court.
You're right.
Just the way it goes.
You're right. Man, what do you think of? What were you guys thinking of Walker tonight? I thought he looked terrible. I mean, I was
Until
scared.
the fourth quarter, yeah.
Yeah, I was scared he would cook us, and I felt like all his shots were going to go in. But man, he's so fast. I'm glad we didn't get
shooting
him
tonight.
I'm glad we didn't go after him because I just don't think his style really would have helped us.
You're right.
He's such a score first guard.
You're absolutely right. That was my worry, but that was the best point guard on the market at the time, and I really wanted him over Terry Rozier or Brogdon.
Now he's looking great.
No, he's not even starting now, isn't he? He's
No.
behind LaMelo.
I think you might be right, but
LaMelo started over him.
Didn't Rozier drop like 40 something earlier this season and like 44 or something, and
probably
he was keeping LaMelo out, but I don't know, man. I'm glad we got Chris Paul.
I love the way Devin Booker goes in and he can lay it up over top on the high glass over bigger guys. I love the way he does that, left hand and right hand. He's a finisher.
How salty were you when Thies beat the shit out of Booker's layup?
yeah, it happens, man.
Bro, but it's not every game or every few games that you see a block that like 100% of his palm hit the ball. That wasn't a fingertip block. Like what was Book doing, man? That just was not the layup to try to attempt. I hope they show it here. They probably will. But then Book came back. Then Book came back and beat Tatum up against the glass. That felt good. Then Ayton beat Tatum shit off the glass, or maybe at least just out of bounds. That was a great moment, man. I don't know what it is about Tatum. I don't like him. He's so smooth. Maybe
you don't like him.
Maybe it's just jealous.
It is.
You think he's jealous? Killer.
It is. You wish that we drafted him over Jackson.
Could we have?
We could have if they didn't block that. If they didn't block that interview, because originally the way it was working is the Celtics liked Jackson, but then he canceled his interview over there because McDonough told him to do it.
Fucking McDonough.
And Earl Watson went on record saying he wanted Tatum over Jackson.
Yeah,
because he wanted the two light-skinned killers between Tatum and Booker. But McDonough or Sarver came in and was like, "Nah, we're getting Josh Jackson."
Is it any worse if it's either or the other? I mean, both of them are just terrible. They're like the same person.
I mean, it doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, if Jason Tatum was drafted to the Suns, would we still have Earl Watson? I mean, I don't know if it would have mattered at that time, to be honest.
I don't know.
We could have lost him by now. Hell,
me and Salty were pretty low on Earl Watson.
Everybody was. Lindsey Hunter.
Yeah, he's bad.
Bad. You know.
He lasted 3 games. He lasted 3 games in a season. That doesn't happen.
Lindsey Hunter?
No, Earl Watson. And
but he got the season before, right? He wasn't just like coach for 3 games. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that was bad though. That was bad. I'm so glad we're past that. I'm so glad we're past Hornacek.
No,
but yeah, this
Hornacek almost got us to the playoffs that year, didn't he?
When we had the triple-headed mistake of point guard.
That was the year after. That was the year after. The year before. That's when Eric Bledsoe went out and we had Miles Plumlee and stuff.
Ugh, that dunk right there, man. That was like the play before. I don't think they just showed it, but we whiffed on an alley-oop to Ayton, and then Thies shows us how it's done.
Sure did.
Bang! I mean,
that was pretty nasty how we caught it too.
Absolutely. I was hoping we could have seen that, but Cam looked good. Bro, why is Cam so much better off the bench?
17 points.
Some
Keep
people
his
just
ass on the
prefer
bench.
taking its matchups. He's playing against scrubs.
This was good
That
right
was a
here.
huge play. That was a huge play right
Yeah.
there. Sorry.
No
You
problem.
guys been calling him Rodman, right place at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
And
You were gonna say
then
something?
coming up with that key shot. And so he got that and one right there. And then with 2 minutes left, he finally hit a clutch three. Kemba went out for a minute here, and I was just about to go, oh boy,
Yeah.
here we go. But yeah, here it is right here. Cam finally hitting a clutch shot. Finally, and with 2 minutes to go. He hasn't been hitting those, and when he hit it, I knew we were going to win. I wasn't even worried. Even though they came right back and they left them wide open on the stupid shot by
that 3-pointer
punchable
right
Peyton
there.
Pritchard.
Salty, did you notice how insanely open we were leaving their 3-point
That's
shooters
it.
all game?
Hold
was
on.
terrible.
Who did these highlights? Is that off of YouTube or what? Because they didn't show any of the ones of the last minute 30 when the Suns had 3 or 4 straight possessions and not giving up any more points. They came out.
Highlights.
Devin Booker came up, hit that shot on the elbow to put it within 5. The defense was stingy. We hit our free throws. I'm calling whoever that is edited that together. That's trash.
Probably some Celtics fans that didn't want to show it. Couldn't
same
bring
with the
themselves
refs.
to leave it in the cut.
Refs were Celtics fans too. That was a garbage game ref by them.
So let's talk about the man, the myth, the legend, real quick.
Frank Kaminsky?
Frank Kaminsky. Can't see him. That's okay. So towards the end of that game, when we had Cam in, and no offense to Cam, it's just I felt like I saw him get boxed out a couple of times. I genuinely 100% felt like Monty should sub in Frank Kaminsky. Do you know how weird that is? Do you know how weird that feels?
Yeah, I kind of thought that too, man.
Did you? Thank you.
Yeah.
Salty. Did that thought ever cross your mind?
No, it didn't.
Okay. What about in the beginning of the game when he hit a couple threes and he had that dunk? What were you thinking about Kaminsky then?
I'm just like, yeah, in the short term, he's good. Arguably, he's been one of the most important people that we picked up. Like, we picked him up after he got cut by the Kings. So we lucked out, man, based off of injuries we had and just the way things have went. So, yeah, he's been a savior, but I always know what he is. It's just like some players.
You're waiting for that
above
other shoe to
themselves,
drop,
you know?
right?
It's not like I want him to do bad because I don't want him to do bad. Like, hell, if he figured it out and he just becomes the next big thing, cool, man. That's I hope for every player, but I feel like I know Frank Kaminsky, and eventually this high he's on he'll come off of it because he's done that throughout his career.
But
I think he was drafted by Charlotte, right? Charlotte.
But you hope the best for Frank Kaminsky.
Oh, I do, but then
why you always lying?
I don't believe you.
I don't believe that at all.
I'm just
No.
No, man.
I just want to win, and if we're winning with him in the starting lineup, then keep him there. Numbers don't lie. So, like, if our coach made adjustments and they work, I'm cool with it. Fuck, play whoever you want. You could play what's his name, Damian Jones. If we were on like a 20 winning streak, and Damian Jones was a starter on the starting center, I can't say anything because we're winning, you know. But if you go through a point where you start losing, yeah, I'm gonna start dissecting your lineups and question, you know, because it's not working. But if it works, we won 5 out of 6, and how many of those has Frank played a lot or started, you know? So
yeah.
I don't know.
Coach Frank Kaminsky, thoughts?
I mean, I think he's only going to get better, especially when he comes off the bench. If we've got,
why you always lying?
You think he's gonna get better? He can't.
I think he's been serviceable as hell, and I think he's only going to get better and more comfortable when he comes off the bench. When he's playing against backups.
I think
see what I'm saying?
I think I just wanted to hit the button. That's not
that's
on you.
fine.
that's on me, bro. Go on.
But I mean, we've been freaking saying that since the beginning of time whenever we get Saric back, which is really starting to get annoying with all these injuries. And we're still coming out with wins, and we're still number 4 in the West. I think that is a big, big tell of this team and their resiliency. The 3-game losing streak, whatever that was that we won on 4 games when we went back to 500, that was a big wake up sign for them, and they've answered the bell, man. They've answered it with all the injuries. It didn't matter who they were playing. It didn't matter if the refs were going against the Mavericks or going against us against the Mavericks, right? It just didn't seem to matter. I mean, the New Orleans game we had to wipe away, but we bounced back with a win against Detroit. And for the record, Saturday night, the very next night after we beat Detroit, Detroit only loses by 6 to the Lakers. So, and we won by 17 with our scrubs out. Take that for what you will. It's resiliency.
You have to look at the rest of the NBA and look at the scores. And sometimes I think the Lakers even lost to Detroit earlier in the year. The Nuggets just got beaten by the Kings. The Kings are playing better.
On a roll.
So, yeah, our competition, they have bad losses just like we do. So sometimes it's not necessarily what the team is like the record is, as opposed to what is the matchup. Because sometimes you have a matchup nightmare against a shitty team, and that's just because the way your team's constructed, right? If we decided to play certain players or our lineup is exposed against certain players, then you might lose to a bad team here and there, but you don't want to make it, happen a lot, which it has this season. But it speaks to our depth, and that's one of the things that stood out in the beginning of the year to me. I think to a lot of people were like, wow, this is the deepest team I've seen in a while. And I think that the fact that we could have injuries and all these problems and still be whatever you said, 4th, that speaks volumes. We lost Book for a while. We did the COVID protocols. Sarge has been out extended periods of time. We had to pick up Frank. Like Frank Kaminsky is playing pivotal minutes and role on our team, which is crazy in itself. So
the craziest part is that it's working.
Yeah.
For now. But of course, like we talked about before, we've been there. And that's why I was saying you're waiting for the other shoe to drop with him. I'm just waiting for his talent to leave his body, because it doesn't seem like it's a long-term thing. It definitely wasn't last year.
So what about the whole situation with Sticks, man? Like, I don't know if you guys have thoughts on that, but we drafted him over Halliburton, which if you go watch the highlights from the Kings beating the Nuggets, this dude is just, you can already tell he's something. I don't know if he's going to be an all-star or not, but he looks special for where he was drafted. So,
yeah, what do you think, Coach?
I mean, I'd love to be in the mind of James Jones on that decision, and then Monty of why he's not playing. I mean, if the coach isn't playing you, there's a reason. I don't know. We don't know what it is. We don't know why he's not playing. Maybe he does just suck. Maybe he didn't do anything over quarantine, and he just can't even catch the ball right now. I mean, we've seen him hit threes. We've seen him do things. It's really confusing.
He looks like a damn energizer buddy.
I mean, yeah. That's what I think, but again, we're not around the team all the time, and the media coverage is like 75% less of what it usually is. So we're having to guess everything now. But then you see Halliburton, what is he, 6'7", 6'8", something like that, and maybe they didn't want to get into another situation of a Cam Johnson, Oubre, Jay Crowder, Mikal Bridges. They didn't want to get in a situation where they clog up the wing position. Maybe he didn't want to go. Maybe he doesn't like money. I don't know. There's a slew of reasons. The fact remains is that Halliburton is freaking killing it and is going to for years to come with Sacramento, who's won 5 in a row now, like 6 out of the last 7, some run, and they're in the 9th seed right now, right behind Golden State. So that's what sucks. And Smith isn't playing. It looks like a bomb, but we can't take this season as like the end all be all, because it's just happening to so many players around the league. All these rookies are just not getting the opportunity, and they can't even go to the G League right now because they haven't started up yet. So it's just a messy situation overall.
I can't get up on
Halliburton. is 6'5", by the way.
6'5"?
6'5". Okay.
Yep.
I can't be upset with the Sticks situation because Sticks isn't playing. Like, for all we know, Sticks gets in like end of this year and starts killing it. Or next year he has a bigger role and it's like, whoa, he's actually better than Halliburton. So I'm fine waiting on Sticks. I'm just, man, I wish I could find out from Monty. I wish somebody had the balls in the Suns media staff to just ask him. Like, I've been watching the post games. They're not really asking like straight up, like, why are you not playing Sticks?
Hey, real quick, I just saw this on Twitter and I haven't heard this. Shout out, rest in peace to Pedro Gomez, MLB ESPN reporter. I don't know if you guys knew Pedro, but he lived in the Phoenix area for a long time too. He's like one of the best, is the best baseball coverage on ESPN. What a Sekou Smith and then Pedro Gomez. What a loss to the sports world.
He wasn't that old, was he?
58.
Do you know what it was?
He passed away unexpectedly today. I'll read some of this and I'll let you guys know. But I wanted to bring it here with some live reactions. What do you guys think?
Yeah. Scary,
yeah, it's weird because he tweeted like 8 hours ago. So
whoa, really?
Yeah, I commented on his tweet. The last thing he said, I think it was on some football picture or something like that. He's like, made a comment on it in 8 hours, and then he's dead. I was just like, I don't know how he died, but it just speaks about you never know.
Wow.
Like
it said unexpected. Everything is an hour or just over an hour ago. So this is just recently.
Wow. Well, RIP. Have him in your thoughts and prayers, everybody. Man, who else have we not talked about this game?
I got a few notes, if you guys wouldn't mind, if that's cool.
Yeah.
I thought you and I talked about the Javon Carter campaign thing last time, but now E'Twaun Moore's playing. And so I was thinking E'Twaun Moore's playmaking ability and how he was taking it in the lane a few times and his shot making could really be a benefit to campaign overall. He's not going to have the intensity like Javon has coming off the bench, but I thought a guy that can create shots for himself and his own as well as campaign together, I thought that could be a really good synergy. We saw some Chris Paul, E'Twaun Moore today being able to play off them, and Chris Paul give it back over to E'Twaun Moore to do some things to take Chris Paul out of the play, and ended up with 2 straight buckets. I just think that proves my point that having E'Twaun Moore and Cam play off the bench together is going to be really fun and exciting to watch. Having another playmaker. Javon Carter can't make plays. It has to be given to him or he's going to take it from you to make the play, right? But having a guy with the ball in his hands to make a play for other people as well too is only going to add to our depth in the second or in the second half of the season and in our second unit. What do you guys think?
Salty, I'll let you take it. E'Twaun Moore.
Did we lose him?
I forgot the dude was even on my team. You can't hear me?
You forgot. Yeah,
there we go. You were cutting out.
You were botting a little bit. Go on. We can hear you now. Or not. So E'Twaun Moore, coach.
Do you watch the stream? Do you see it?
Salty, try if you can reconnect, bro. Reconnect, okay? Timothy.
All right.
What's up,
Tim?
What's up in the chat, bro? Yeah, man, we should have put it up earlier to let everybody know it was going to be on late, but we just figured it was Super Bowl right after the game. Everybody was going to be busy watching that stuff, so we'd figure we'd just go tonight, talk both a little Super Bowl, talk about your Chris Paul, Timothy. So let's see. I'm going to remove him, see if he can get back in. So there he is. You back, bro?
Yeah, can you hear me?
E'Twaun Moore, you sound perfect. Go on.
All right, so what I was saying before I get into that, the Moore situation, you guys talking about campaign, I forgot the dude was even on our team, bro. Like,
seriously,
for a while there, because I don't know, like we've been playing so well, and I like Moore a lot better. Like we talked a lot of stuff about Moore, me specifically, because he just wasn't performing earlier in the year, but now. With him in the lineup and some other players playing, you forget about it honestly. Like, I like Moore now. I like what he brings to the table. So it's going to be difficult for me because, I like campaign and stuff, but he drives to the basket, which we need. He's been very consistent with his play lately. I think he does a lot of things like off the ball that are good. It's all matchups, dude. Like who's running, who's staying, and who's going after people get healthy. Like, are you going to mess with chemistry now that you have all these wins? 5 out of 6, and all of a sudden people get better, and then you risk messing chemistry up when you're changing lineups and stuff. It's not as easy as we think. What would you guys do if all of our players were healthy right now?
Well, would we agree that first and foremost that Jay Crowder needs to start, or are you keeping Kaminsky to start?
Oof, no. Even myself, even Kaminsky's biggest fan here, I say keep Crowder in.
Yeah.
Right. So
I think
then Crowder goes down. So
he's in the lineup, right? So who's the starting lineup then?
So then you got Paul Booker, Bridges, Ayton, and Crowder, and then coming off the bench, obviously you have Cam Johnson, Langston Galloway, Etuan Moore. I'm not counting Damian Jones. I'm not counting Javon Carter right now. And then you have Kaminsky, and then you have Saric, and that's 5 right there. But
what
then you
about
got
Campaign, dude. See all these players, dude. It's crazy. It's crazy.
So
what a problem to have, as Gabe said the other podcast.
It is a good problem to have. Let me go in on Etuan a little bit and give you my take. So I have the opposite take of you guys. You guys are both in agreement. I thought Salty was going to be on my side. Today I watched Etuan Moore play, and I wasn't impressed. I have been more impressed the last couple of games from him. It's just, let's see. So at the 9:30 minute in the second quarter, Carter came in. And I was like, holy shit, Carter's coming in real early. These aren't garbage minutes. Maybe he's getting his second chance. And then literally like 3.5 minutes later, he got pulled. And you're right, coach. He doesn't create offense for the team the way that Etuan Moore does. But my solution is staggering CP3 and Book slightly more than you have been, and letting Book be more of point Book like he did with 11 assists tonight. And that allows Javon Carter to slide back in. And it's almost like role reversal where Chris Paul is in, he's running the offense and getting stops. He comes out, now Book runs the offense, and Javon Carter is still getting every stop that CP3 would have gotten. It's just that now Book is running the offense. And I don't have a problem with Book running the offense. And in that scenario, I see a lot more Book and CP3 controlling everything and a little bit less of Etuan Moore controlling everything. It's just his shot isn't really there right now. He looks a little old.
0 for 3
Does he
tonight.
not?
You're right.
He's not,
You're not wrong.
You are right. Carter needs to be set up. Let Book set him up.
I don't even want Carter shooting.
Okay.
That's a different conversation.
I think he's good. Go ahead, Saul.
I think you're just kind of remembering the good times with Carter and letting that cloud your judgment on the here and now because of what he did last year. He signed that contract. I don't even know what kind of contract he signed. I think it's 3 years though, right?
Like 3 years, like 3-point-something million. It's for like $1 million a year. So like super low maintenance. Good to have that type of dog on your bench, right? Yeah. Carter took Nader's minutes since Nader was out.
We didn't even mention Nader too.
Well, we don't need to because we know when all those guys come back out, Nader's out.
Timothy, I wrote that as well. I'm like, is Carter coming in just because we don't have Crowder, but also Nader? So maybe Javon Carter really is still in the doghouse, and he was just
maybe he just doesn't fit the offense right now. He doesn't drive it. He doesn't create his own shot. He's undersized for his position. I mean, it's like the reverse of Galloway. If all you're bringing to the table is defense, then find someone else.
Galloway's defense has stepped up. His feet are moving a lot quicker than they were at the beginning of the season. I mean, he's not going to go out there and rip it from you, but
So that's back to my point, Coach and Salt, is I want to see a little bit more stagger between CP3 and Book, since they're both so offensively competent and they can both get their own shot. And what that does when Book is point is that gets more opportunities for Galloway and who's for Cam Johnson and for McHale. That gets them opportunities instead of Etuan. I'm just about maximizing shots for the players that we want taking our shots. And right now, I don't want Etuan taking our shots.
So I have a question. I don't know. Someone needs to look up Bridges plus minus with Kaminsky in there and like
specifically
his averages. His averages, because I'm curious, because like from perspective of having these two in together, because like if you took him out, if you took Frank out of the starting lineup, then it'd be a staggered play time with Bridges because he's a starter, right? But if they're starting together, they play more minutes together, so that's might be another reason why Coach had that thought process, because Bridges is an important player to develop into a star or try to. He's been blossoming from a offense standpoint, so he kind of went on a struggle back a couple weeks ago. But if they play well together, then you have to take that into account too. You know, in addition to the other things that Kaminsky brings to the table, which 2 7-footers on the floor together.
It's good for rebounding. It's good for blocking shots, and Frank does a great job of also, just like DA, going straight up. I think that's something that our team just coaches well. Is don't swat, don't reach your hands forward to block, just go straight up. You got 2 7-footers doing that in the paint. 2 7-footers
man.
It is. And Kaminsky's not playing like a complete bum like he used to.
No.
So something maybe ride him.
But he did that last year though, and then he turned out and thought he was Kevin Durant all of a sudden.
You know what it is? You know what it is? I thought about it today. Salty, he's not doing this anymore after he hits a three. And I'm loving it. Remember? Maybe he was just a little too egocentric last year with that whole I'm hot. No, you're never hot, Frank. Stop doing that. You need to be the type of person that gets down and does push-ups when you make a mistake to make us love you again like Kelly did. Not sit here and tell us how hot you are from three, because we all know you're going to go 1 for 30 at some point.
And Timothy brought up another good point. We brought this up earlier, Timothy. McHale does cut a lot more when Kaminsky's in, which is great. So there's no reason why Kaminsky can't be your first big off the bench. It's probably not going to be Saric if and when he comes back, just because of the flow of when he comes back, just because of him missing so much. And Frank's going to know. So that's going to be good for when Frank comes in. It's going to be crucial, actually. And it's going to be against second teamers, or guys off the bench.
I think it's going to be a potential cluster trying to get these players back. Hopefully they stack in and all come back at the same time, because it's like, oh shit, what do we do?
You're botting again, bro. You may want to reconnect.
If you can give us one more reconnect.
All right.
Yeah. But real quick, while he's doing that, a few things I thought was interesting about the game. 5 turnovers in the first quarter, 5 for the rest of the game.
One stat I really liked was, at least, and it could be even better than this, our first 9 buckets came off of assists. At least it might have been 10.
They just looked a little crisper today. They tried too hard in the first quarter, and they got mad at themselves when something went wrong, right? Which was good to see, but everything just looked a little bit better today against a decent perennial Eastern Conference Finals team the last 4, 5, 6 years, however long it's been. That was good to see. The thing that I hated, that was really pissing me off, and they were calling it on the broadcast, was Kevin Ray kept saying it. Tristan Thompson was moving DeAndre Ayton with ease. He got so many offensive rebounds, and then Tristan Thompson was nowhere to be found in the fourth quarter when they needed those extra possessions. They just weren't getting it. I mean, there was a time in the game in like the second quarter, the beginning of the second quarter, where the Celtics shot 10 more shots than the Suns. mostly due to turnovers, but also a lot of offensive rebounds too. I mean, they had 13 on the night. Overall, we actually won the boards 50-41, but Tristan Thompson was moving DeAndre Ayton, which we said DA's got to get a little bigger. If he got a little bit bigger, people wouldn't be moving him in the post so he could feed him too. But the rebounding was there. DA still had 11 boards. Again, we've never had a center that can have a crap game and still collect 11 to 13 boards a game. So there's that. Take that for what you will.
I just saw Frank Kaminsky almost got a double-double, 9 and 9. Dirty
Solid
stat.
effort.
Absolutely.
I'll take that all game long.
Yeah, Tim Thompson was,
sorry.
and they pointed out that Thompson's only 6'9", but he weighs like 260. So you're right. It is all in his legs, his lower body, man. He's built like a freaking tall running back.
I was gonna say like Derrick Henry.
Yeah, totally.
So I mean, good game. We beat a perennial Eastern Conference team, and the thing that really pissed me off the most was actually after on NBA TV. I don't know if you guys watched any of the post game. I just had it on while I did some things, getting some food ready. They kept saying, "Oh, Boston's been in a slump. They're really hurting on injuries. It's really caught up to them now. No Jaylen Brown, no Marcus Smart. They're really hurting." And I'm just like, bro, we've had it way worse than you for I don't even know how long, and that was Channing Frye that said it. So, and there you go, Arizona alum supporting the home team.
Fucking Channing Frye, bro. Dude really turned his back on us. We could have had him again at the end of his career, and he didn't want to come back. It's like, fuck you, dude. I used to love Channing Frye.
Arizona alum, what can you say, right? Can't trust
him. And
him.
Amari. Him and Amari was a hell of a combo. Ooh, that is a dope shirt.
That's all I'm going to say. I got it when I was in AZ with Salty last year. It was like exactly a year ago.
That's dope. Yeah. Man. Salty, what do you think about the next game?
Who's the Cavs?
Tomorrow night at 7, you guys, right?
Oh, it's tomorrow? Shit. Yeah, I don't have much experience with the Cavs, but I know that they beat the
Nets twice, back to back,
and they're better. I looked at the record; they're not like the bottom of the Eastern Conference. They're actually trying to get in the playoffs. Maybe at the bottom, but
they've lost ever since the Nets back to back. They've lost 7 of their last 9.
Timothy says it's a W for us. But see, Timothy, this is the thing, man. This is what we've been noticing. When we think I'm finally, how many games in? 20? I'm finally realizing that I've got to stop saying this is an easy dub because there is no such thing. And these are the exact moments in which tomorrow night we're going to get on here and be like, can you guys effing believe that we played like that? Because however the Cavs play, that's how we going to play. Am I wrong, Salt?
It's true. I told you guys this before. If I pick the Suns to lose, they'll win. So maybe I should pick them to lose and then they'll win. But eventually they got to get over this hump, man. They got to beat these bad teams and soundly, you know?
Dude, they're playing against their backcourt consists of Colin Sexton, who I love, who's averaging 23.5 a game. You got to watch out for him. He's a fast dude. Yeah, he'll put it up on you. They got him, and then they've got Darius Garland, who's averaging 16 a game. You know, Sexlin. You got to watch out for Sexlin. And then you've got Isaac Okoro. All of them are young dudes, and did Timothy just say it? CP3 will take those 2 uprising guards to school. No, did I say Isaac Okoro? No, Isaac Okoro. So they've got these 3 young guys. One of them a rookie that Book and CP3 should handle. But what I said at the beginning of the podcast, man, I am worried about JaVale McGee, Andre Drummond, who starts, and Jared Allen, and their rebounding presence and our lack of size. That's going to be the matchup. That's going to be it. But if we can hit our shots tomorrow, like jump shots, it's going to be fine. I'm worried about taking it in on them tomorrow, especially with the defensive blocking acumen of those bigs.
Salty. If Frank gets a double-double tomorrow, I need you to show up on the podcast. I'm loving Shia LaBeouf. Don't get me wrong. But tomorrow, you got to let me pick a Frank Kaminsky picture for you if he gets a dub-dub.
Oh, my God. All right. Hey,
Perfect. Man, I have a win tomorrow. This is how I'm going to do it, Salty. You go ahead and just be extra salt and say we're going to lose. I'm going to say it's going to be one of them tough games that we're going to have to pull out at the end. And at best case scenario, we're going to win like we did tonight against the Celtics, where it's like it was close and Book has to hit a big shot or CP3 has to hit a big shot. I don't think we blow Cleveland out, Coach.
I think we win in the 4 to 7 point range.
Cool. Timothy's got a dub. Says maybe Javon will get more minutes tomorrow against Sexton. Good point. I'd like that. I would like that. Or do you think Etuan Moore can handle Sexton?
Too fast. No. Etuan Moore couldn't handle either of them. That's a really good point. But he's in the second unit, so Chris Paul would have to come out at the 6-7 minute mark and then have Javon in to guard him, or Darius Garland at that point. That's a really good point, though. I like that. And I'm curious, does Cleveland play on Tuesday? Are they doing a back-to-back? Because that kind of impacts. No, they fly out and they play Wednesday. So they played Saturday, then they play Wednesday. So this is
we're the one. Yeah. We're the ones on a back-to-back.
Of course, that always happens.
I feel like we play okay on back-to-backs. I'm not scared of us being on back-to-backs. Didn't we beat?
We beat Dallas back-to-back, and then we beat Utah and Denver back-to-back on the road.
Yeah, I'm not scared. We should be fine. I don't think I have anything else on these last couple of games. Anything about the NBA that you want to talk about before we get going?
You want to go through the scores real quick? It was a light day, but it was some good action around the league. You want to go through a few?
Yeah,
and you can do what you love all the time and go to damn standings, and I can whip out my phrase that I say every podcast.
Perfect.
So while you're pulling that up, I'll start with the first game. The Utah Jazz win freaking again over the Pacers, 103-95. Donovan Mitchell had 27 points, 11 assists, and 9 boards. Domantas Sabonis had 29, but he fouled out. So the Jazz going up, winning again. Maybe they're going to have one of those dreamlike seasons that the Hawks did like 5 or 6 years ago when they were the #1 team in the East and then just drowned in the Eastern Conference Finals.
We hope.
So, that's what I think is going to happen at this point. They're just on a freaking roll. But who knows with COVID and injuries?
You know what you were? I think it was you. It might have been Salty earlier that was saying like, yeah, I think it might have been Salty. We're having like our record isn't that great, but it's not bad. And like we've been, we just don't have it all together yet. And we've been injured and stuff. We could have been the Jazz if everything was clicking the way it should, like clicking the way like right away. We could have been 19-5.
Yeah. I haven't seen Gobert or Conley or Mitchell or Ingles or Clarkson or like any of those dudes like miss any time for like protocol or injuries or nothing. Like they're due for something to hit, but it's just their whole team's coming back, right?
Gobert was the super spreader to the whole NBA in the first place. He's already had it. He's immune.
He ruined the sports world by touching on the mic, so something is going to happen to them.
Such a dickhead.
Touching all the mics.
Do you remember that, Salt?
Something's going to happen to him. Yeah. Come on now.
He was joking about it.
I was in Phoenix about to fly home when that shit happened. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was awful. So, anyways, almost a year ago, enough of COVID, but yeah, Jazz got by the Pacers again to go 19-5. That's crazy. So, the Heat finally get a much-needed win over the Knicks. Bam Adebayo went off for 24 and 11. Julius Randle again with 26 and 13 and 7 assists. That dude is he's a monster all of a sudden. Next game of the night, during the day actually, Hornets beat the Wizards. And Bradley Beal came out being like, nobody's laughing, nobody's having fun, yada, 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 our locker room sucks. So Bradley Beal's going to get traded, and I just hope it's not to Denver or Dallas or something like that. That would suck.
Keep his ass in the East.
But you're right. Terry Rozier had a game tonight. He had 26 points. So he went and did his thing, and the Hornets are 13 and 11 and 13.
Let's see what he's averaging this year. He's averaging 18.
Did Salt just leave us, or is he coming back? Did he just leave? I was going to ask him what he thought. Word, he's back.
Yo, what's up?
Yeah, here's the last game I wanted to ask you about. Kings and Clippers. Kings 113-110 overtime, I believe so.
That's a helpful win.
De'Aaron Fox with 36 and 4, Lou Williams with 23, but 113 to 110. What are you guys's, and Salty, what are your thoughts on the Kings and the Clippers right now?
I was the King, like a Kings apologist at the beginning of the year when we went against them, because it felt like their team was different. Like, it didn't feel like the old Kings, and then we lost to them that one game, and then we blew them out the next game or whatever. It was, they just seemed more well-rounded, and I feel like Fox has taken a step up with his game. He can actually make threes now at a consistent clip. They just have a pretty, it's obviously not a top contending team, but like to try to get into the playoffs in the last, maybe the play-in game, I think, yeah, dude, they have a lot of talent, young talent. Fox is crazy. Halliburton, like I said, he's surprising to me. Just cans threes, looks good. As far as the Clippers go, I think that they'll do what they did last bubble or last playoffs. I think that they'll be top 4 in the West Conference. They'll make the playoffs or probably get past their first round matchup and then bounce out second round. That's just how they seem like a team to me. But yeah, that's my thoughts. I think the Kings are going to compete for that last spot. I think that they're showing how good they can be. They've beaten some pretty good teams out there.
Iverson's saying he thinks we'd be the 3 seed. You're absolutely right. We would be the 3 seed, but hey, I'll take being the 4 seed in the West. However, I mean, look at the
Spurs
Grizzlies.
are 5th right now.
We have the same amount of losses as the 9, 10, 11 seed.
Yep.
I mean, we're 3 losses away from being the 12 seed, 13. 4 or 5 losses away from being the second worst team in the world. It's such a weird COVID season, bro. Like, I don't like this. I don't like how good 4 feels right now because I'm staring down at, I don't know. I'm not scared of
pretty much all those teams play tomorrow too. Tomorrow's a big day in the NBA for the Western Conference. I mean, Denver's playing. We're obviously playing Cleveland. Golden State and San Antonio play against each other. Down there, Dallas is playing. Memphis is playing. Houston is playing. Tomorrow's kind of a big day for us. If you want to be a team in the top 4 or top 6 or even in the playoffs, especially this year with all those teams, tomorrow's a game do we have to win against a bad team? I feel like it's not a must-win game, but it's a can't-lose game, but it's also a trap game. I don't know.
What do you think, Salt?
I just think, like you said, with the stats, they don't lie. Men and women lie, but numbers don't lie. And the West is ridiculously deep. I don't think there's a team. I think who's the bottom right now? The Wolves.
Yeah, they're the only ones that are like out of it, right?
Yeah, but I still think that, if they get healthy, they could still beat anybody in the West on an off night, So it's very uncomfortable, a very uncomfortable feeling to be where the Suns are, like one of the best teams they've had in the last 10 years. And potentially, if you have a bad streak, whether it is injury or bad lucks or anything, just like Gabe said, you lose 3 or 4 games, 5 games, all of a sudden you see yourself 12th seed, 12th,
yeah.
13th, 14th, or whatever it is.
And then we're back to talking about signing IT.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I said this before. If they want to definitely just kind of distance themselves from that cluster, in the middle, they need to go on a streak just like the Jazz did, because the Jazz were struggling in the beginning of the year, and all of a sudden they did what? How many wins in a row did they do? It's just they need the Suns. It'd be good if the Suns had like a 10-game streak. I know that's asking a lot, but
it's asking a lot. But how would you feel about 8 out of 10, Salt? That'd be fucking great. And look, we're already on a 5 out of 6.
Yeah, I mean they need to string
these
together
home games coming up. 5 more home games in a row.
They need to string together wins. They need to limit their losses, obviously, and they need to beat the bad teams. So
and the Jazz have won 15 out of their last 16.
Wow.
Exactly. That's why they are where they are. Like, if you look at these, What's up?
You said it. We have to beat the bad teams, and that's what I'm feeling about tomorrow. I'm feeling like he was saying, is it a must win? Is it a can't lose? I think it is a must win because we must beat teams we're supposed to beat.
To keep
Or we're going
absolutely.
to be frauds. Sorry, Salty, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's just you got to win the games you're supposed to win because in a playoff race this close, it always comes back to bite you. Like I've talked about it with Evan a lot and everybody. You could look at the Cardinals season. You know, they missed it by one game. There's plenty of games that they should have won, and if they would have won just one of those games that they should have won, they wouldn't have had to worry about getting into the playoffs or relying on other people. That's the same thing with like the Suns' bubble season last year. If they would have won the game, like it's a different story there, but then at the end you're relying on whoever it was, LeVert, to can that shot, and then he misses it and you miss the playoffs. Like, I don't want the Suns to be at the mercy of anybody. I want them to say, okay, we're clearly in the playoffs this year, and then we could focus on that. Not me nail biting my my nails off because I think they're going to just choke and not make the playoffs. I don't want that.
I don't want none of that this season, man. We got to be better than that. We got to be better than that. We got to get a good – bro, here. You just helped me align what it is I want for the Suns. My one goal for the Suns this season, attainable goal. This is pre-playoffs. Obviously, I'm not saying if we get here, Coach Evan is about to jump through the computer and strangle me for saying that I'll be happy with second best. What I'm saying is I'll be happy at first if we get a home playoff series to start the playoffs. That's where we need to be aiming. Anything
regular
on that
season goal, yeah.
Regular season goal is get that 4-seed or better, so that when we're playing the Spurs in round 1, which is what I'm predicting, or do you think Dallas could make that climb?
I want us at home. I have this weird feeling it's going to be Denver versus Phoenix in the first round, just 4-5 matchup. But
you think Denver's going to
if the Lakers get the number 1 seed, I do not want the 4-5 seed. If the Jazz are the 1 seed, give me the 4-5 seed.
Oh, I get it for matchups.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, because who you're going to play in the next round.
I don't think we can beat. I don't even think we'll beat the Lakers this year. I really don't.
You don't think we'll beat the Lakers?
No, unless there's injuries or something like that.
Fuck that. Fight me.
I hope I'm wrong. Trust me. I hope I'm wrong.
No, I
really do.
Bro. We match up with this year's Lakers better than last year's.
Maybe you didn't size. Listening. I'm not getting through to you, Evan. This is the team we have. We can beat anyone, but we can lose to anyone. So I'm not scared of the Lakers because we
get up for the bigger games.
We'll play the Lakers where they play. Now, is that going to be good enough for 7 games? I don't think so. But I think we could beat them. I think we can hang with them.
Do we have a better chance of beating LeBron in the earlier rounds as opposed to maybe running the table to the Western Conference and losing?
We need him tired. I want him tired.
When's he ever gotten tired? I've never seen LeBron tired.
I want him to the point where Kuzma is pushing him out like, go guard your fucking man, Bron. We need that, Bron.
That's part of why I do want an All-Star game to happen to tire LeBron out even more.
Definitely.
Instead of getting that rest.
Because he'll be front running and showboating for the cameras. Iverson says, watch us beat the Bucks, Sixers, and Nets. I will laugh. We will.
That doesn't matter. No. The only game that matters is Cleveland. I'm not even letting you guys go there. I'm not even letting you go there. Cleveland.
I don't know if you know this, but me and Salty aren't suiting up for the game tomorrow night. So we can take the players better not be taking this shit lightly. The players don't even need to be thinking about the Bucks, Sixers, or Nets. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
We're putting that energy in the world. Come on. We're beating Cleveland tomorrow, and then we're moving on.
That's fair. Man, we didn't have Kiz tonight, and we made it. Kiz,
Let's all befriend him on Twitter now.
He's a Mavs fan, so.
Is he a Mavs fan now?
Well, I think he's a Mavs and a Suns fan. That's the way he's talking.
He was a Lakers fan last
He
week, right?
changes. No, here's what happened. If this, he's like a young salt. He's like a young salt. Okay? But he's advanced. Like he's not loyal like Salty, but he's salty. So as soon as his salt starts boiling, he just leaves the Suns for the night and roots for the winner. But Salty, I respect you more because you stick with your Suns and you just drink yourself to sleep.
Yeah.
That's how a man does it, Kiz. All right, that's how you're supposed to rep the Suns. Gun in your mouth and a cocktail in your mouth. All right.
So let's definitely run through the schedule of when we're going to be on. I'm not looking ahead to any opponents. I'm just letting you know when we're going to be on. So we've got Cleveland tomorrow, 7:00 Phoenix time, local time, and then we'll be on after the game, obviously. Got a day off, and then we play Milwaukee on Wednesday. That's a later game on ESPN. It's 8:00 local time, so we'll be on a little bit later, but come enjoy Hump Day with us. This coming Saturday, we'll have 2 days off before we play Philly at home on Saturday at 1 p.m. local time. That's going to be a really fun game. I'm looking forward to that one. And then we go on a back-to-back from Saturday to Sunday. We play the Orlando Magic Sunday night to round out the week. I can definitely make absolutely every game. I don't know about you guys. I hope you all can. I hope Kiz comes back and Gabe Martinez, Iverson Vlogs. Good to have you. Steven, or Timothy, excuse me. Good to have you as well, too. Timothy calling 7-0 this homestand. Please, I hope you're right. But we got to get through that dominant interior of Cleveland first, and let's get that dub tomorrow. Final thoughts, you guys? Salty, let's start with you.
Let's just get a W tomorrow. That's it.
My final thoughts is I really like the idea of a 7-0 homestand. That sounds, especially against these teams, I don't think it's going to happen. So I'm going to say I'll be happy with 5-2 homestand.
Losses against the Bucks and Sixers, right? So we'd have back-to-back losses. So that would be wins against Detroit, Boston, Cleveland, Orlando, and Brooklyn.
I don't think because they're both big-time like TV games. We're not going to lose both. But over 7 games, I just feel like we will slip up at least once. But I think
we're going on a run,
bro. If it is, I'm gonna love it, and we will give.
Who knows who's going to be back tomorrow?
We'll give Timothy the credit. We'll send Timothy a signed Chris Paul jersey. Just kidding. We can't afford that. So, anything else from you, Coach?
Just follow me on Twitter at Coach Evan B. Like, comment, subscribe. Please tell everybody how awesome we're doing. And if you guys want anybody from out of market, or if you guys want somebody from another market after a game or something, let us know. We'll get Suns Geek in here at some point. Maybe a couple other Suns fans. Would love to bring some guest spots with some of you guys as well too. So thank you for listening.
Yeah, man. We'll see you guys tomorrow night. Later, Salt.